Hey guys, this is Dave with Airsoft, and we want to welcome you to our first episode of In the Chamber. Just real quick, basically this show is just kind of a talk show where we go over a subject, and we'll answer some of your questions too. Tonight though, we're actually going to cover basically how video games, specifically first-person shooters like Battlefield and Call of Duty, are affecting Airsoft. Specifically kind of how it deals with our field and even some of the action in the Bay Area. So, like I said, I'm Dave.
Hi, I'm Jewel.
I'm Jax.
And so it's my understanding that we're going to try and give you a perspective on how the gameplay for us when we're doing our design of our games is going to be different from, say, other fields because we are incorporating these specific game ideas into our Airsoft games. So, first question, Dave. What do you see as being one of the biggest differences that you incorporate that maybe other fields wouldn't?
I'm actually going to go with our first-person shooter days, and I think you could agree with me on that.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much the design from the get-go.
That was designed a long time ago. I mean, when we first started, we had several fields out there. Other than us, we had gone into it with a milsim design, I think, when we first started out. Over time, we realized that there were some other fields that we're attracting more of the casual player than what we were going for. I think in the early days we had a reputation for being elite.
Well, we were an 18 and up field when we first opened.
We were very similar to the way Forward runs their games right now, and that's not to say there's anything wrong with that. There is a place for 18 and up games, most definitely. But we started wanting to open up the field to everybody else. So one of the things that we stepped back and look at, we could run the regular scenario games, or not regular scenario games, the regular skirmish games, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Where you just run and gun, here's 2 flags, go do this, go do that. But then, at the time, it was before Jags even got into the company, we had Garrett. And Garrett and I sat down one day, we were playing Call of Duty and laughing and joking and whatnot. And I was like, man, we should really figure out a way to do this for real. So I think that's one of the ways that this is I guess this is one of the ways it's affecting it.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, amongst our trio here, when we're organizing the field, Dave's primary job, well, he does a lot of things, so don't mistake this for being what it's not. But his primary job is to design your games for you and make sure that they're exactly what you guys want. And we can't obviously incorporate everybody's ideas every game, but we can get a general idea, and he listens to what you have for suggestions, and then he tries to make those games happen for you. So if there's specific scenarios that you like, that you've seen in a game, feel free. Dave's your guy. Contact him, write him an
email me,
Yeah,
please.
email.
I work. I have a
him
regular
on the
job.
Tell him on the field when you're out there, or send him an email.
Yeah, personal touch.
And let him know what you think, because you might actually use those ideas. If it's a good one and we've been planning on doing it, we know there's enough interest, then we'll go for it. You will.
Yeah, and I do. And like I said, we went with the first-person shooter days, I guess, more along the lines of the Call of Duty for our skirmish days or FPS days.
Well, yeah, we said it was going to be based on Call of Duty, but all the game types were just basically game types that we do in elementary school: capture the flag, team deathmatch, all that shit.
But I don't know what elementary school you went to. You were doing
To elementary school.
We did team deathmatch.
Back in tactical kindergarten.
It would have been a fun one, I guess. That would have been a great school, I guess.
Talk to Darkness about that.
I apologize. I made an inappropriate reference. Normally it's the guys that do that, but this time I just couldn't hold it together, so we had to edit, and here we are. We're going to start again.
Alright, yeah. Back to topic. Elementary school, team deathmatch, go.
So anyway, like Jags was saying before we had to restart the video for Jules' inappropriate comment.
Shame. So much shame.
You really shouldn't be ashamed of yourself. It's way too silly.
Alright, come on.
Anyway, so we try to do the games based on Call of Duty, I think, for that, but I think when it comes to Battlefield, I've actually had somebody come up to me and tell me that the field is like Battlefield when we do our...
No, literally our SAS.
Like the layout of it?
Yeah, a layout is like a Battlefield map.
But you know what, Jax? I think this goes across a lot of different games. And I'm not just talking about Ark, as much as I'd love to. I know that certain smaller fields, like indoor fields, you end up playing a lot of the Call of Duty stuff.
Well, I mean, CQB City, Game Pod, it is a Call of Duty map because it's a square. You can't avoid it. It's a square.
It is. It's a square, and I think when you look at the battlefield-ish fields, I mean, I've even noticed in some games. Now there are some really good milsim games out there, and these are not Battlefield by any. Even Battlefield as milsim as a lot of people players think it is. It's not milsim. Battlefield is not. I will tell you from being in the military, the Battlefield is not milsim.
I have a question for Jags because I'm still trying to moderate this a little bit.
You do a good job.
Okay, Jags.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people ask me questions about how our respawn rules are similar to video games. Have you guys been trying to change the way we do things at the field to make it more fun for the player using respawns?
Well, the big one we've been doing, because like a lot of fields do time ones. The big one I like is basically we do 3-man respawns or 5-man respawns. It's such a great way to do respawns because of two reasons. One, not everyone wears a watch, so when players come to this respawn, like, when do I respawn? And yeah, they don't know how long. And some people like just tag and go or just wait there for half of the game, like, oh yeah, I'm respawning. Another thing is it helps with the gameplay. If teams just get slaughtered for whatever reason, they can just go right back, like, oh, 10 of us died, instant respawn, sweet, and they go right back into the game, and it actually makes the game go longer. So, red-wise, the 3-man or 5-man respawn is a godsend.
See, I like the 5-man respawn, or even the 3-man respawn, because for those of you that don't know, I was a military policeman, and we operated in 3-man teams, and sometimes only 3-man teams when we did recon missions. So, you're starting with a fire team. You have 5-man, which honestly was way better than what you're going to start out with Battlefield. You just drop in the middle of the game, no one's talking, everybody runs their own direction.
Yeah.
Which, not to say that doesn't happen in Airsoft too, which that's always hilarity ensues. But no, I like the fact that we can respawn with a 5-man team. But that again, I think when we go back to, I know a lot of players consider like the SAS games milsim. I would call it milsim light, is what we do, because I mean when we're trying to wean people off of the flags and get them more into the milsim things for our later on when we do our FTX games, which are going to be the really involved, immersive milsim. But I'm going to tell a lot of you guys out there that are your younger guys that look at the SAS as being the ultimate in milsim, which I appreciate, or even games at Sean's field over at
Fort Ord, yeah.
And those are milsim oriented. The truth is, the milsim you'll end up on the field for 24 hours, and it might be go hold this LPOP, which is a listening post, observation post, for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Don't let it fall in the military. Don't let it fall in enemy hands.
You eat there, you sleep
But
there.
that's more closer to reality.
But
I would think.
that would be I think a military simulation,
Yeah.
which is what milsim really does stand for. In a military simulation, you'll have like 20 minutes of intense action followed by 4 hours of picking your nose. You get dust pictures.
I know.
So.
Try not to fall asleep.
Or trying not to fall asleep, or avoiding military policemen, or whatever the case may be. But you'll spend a lot of time out there. So I think when it comes to these, back to our subject, excuse me, I think when we take games like Battlefield and Call of Duty, and we incorporate that into a milsim storyline or environment, like what was our last Operation Takedown?
Yes.
But they were very fast games. They were 30-minute games. One of them lasted 10 minutes. It was one and done. But that's a raid, and that's the exciting part of the military. And I think that, or military training, I mean, a real raid is frightening. But I think when we do our milsim, I think what most people are looking for is that, I heard this term a while ago, tac sim, where it's a tactical simulation.
That's probably a better analogy.
It's a better analogy, I think. I mean, what do you think, Joel? Because I mean, tac sim, it was a tactical simulation where you're doing a raid or a specific mission.
Well, I've
versus
noticed.
milsim, where
I think it's funny you use the word tac sim because I've noticed a lot of kids are very into their tactical gear, and their loadout is very important to them. And then I ask them about it, and I say, "Oh, why did you choose that?" And they say, "Well, this is what my character has. This is the gun I play with in my video game."
Leave me alone. I did that with the Call of Duty loadout.
Or this is the rig that I wear in my video game, so I wanted to bring it to the field and wear it on the field and see if it was as cool in real life as it is in the game.
And
so it's fun. It's fun.
I can tell you too, even from the tac sim part of it, that it's a much cooler on the airsoft field because sappy plates weigh a lot. And if you take it back a little further, I'm old enough to where, those of you that don't know, I went in the Army, I think, 4 days after Black Hawk Down actually happened. Okay, so that's when I was leaving for basic,
Yeah.
and those Ranger plates. The guy's like, "Why carry another 20 pounds?" There's 2 of them in the vest. The vest is almost 20 pounds, so it's a 60-pound piece of body armor.
Yeah.
So if you guys really want to do Milsim, I'll tell you what, go ahead and put on a 60-pound vest and a 55-pound ruck, and then carry in,
The water.
the water and all
An
the
Iron
ammunition.
Man suit probably weighs less than what they used to
I mean,
carry back then.
it's a lot of weight. But like back to what we were saying, I think where our video games have given us that the impact on Airsoft is that it's actually made it so that we can focus on the action and do a set piece like in Call of Duty.
So you get all the good stuff.
You get all the exciting stuff, the stuff that people just like they make movies about.
Spoon it up.
And then that, and also from a ref point, it makes it so much easier to deal with, because I don't know how we would ref 200 players sitting in an LPOP for 4 hours,
Yeah.
because I don't want to stand there for 4 hours anymore. I got out.
All right.
So-
Well, is there anything else you guys want to add to this video before we wrap it up?
I kind of do.